And we're live. I hope you're having a good day, a good night, wherever you find yourself in this live video. And yes, this is live. Okay, I'm reading the comments here. You can type a hello. Let me know if everything's coming through clearly, if you can see me, if you can hear me. It's 100% live. Don't let the high quality of this this stream, the crystal clear imagery, confuse you. It's live. And what I want to do in this live stream, apart from interacting with you and answering your questions and comments, of course, is to dive deep into some of the original lessons and epiphanies that I had in my whole self-development journey, because I got into this way back in 2006, 15 years ago, and it's lessons that I haven't touched on that much recently. Okay, in the past few years, there's been you could say, deep focus on letting go, healing past trauma, dissolving limiting beliefs, hurtful beliefs, and that's really how you get to the cause of true permanent transformation. However, there is a lot of value in those early lessons, early epiphanies as well. Okay, and this is a question that I get from time to time. People ask me, well, do you still keep in touch with some of the people you started out with? Right, in this whole journey, say we go back to 2006 when I first started, where are those people? And unfortunately, a lot of them just didn't, being blatantly honest, didn't reach their full potential. Okay, a lot of them, there's so much potential, they had the tools and they just kind of fumbled, they squanched it at the end. Some just didn't make any progress. So what was the difference? Okay, that's what this live stream is going to be about. And once more, yes, this is live. Okay, I'm seeing the comments here. I see Lake Crystal. Hi, everyone. Why, hello. Someone saying hard body fitness. It's pretty clear. Is it pretty clear or is it crystal clear? I think it's crystal clear. Couldn't resist the title. Good. Okay, we're going deep here. Again, some of the unfair advantages that I personally had in my self-help journey and some of the big epiphanies, the big differentiators that allowed me to make it this far versus some other people I might have started out with who just didn't. Okay, someone's like, I hope you have a great day. Same to you. What's up, what's up, what's up? Someone's like, what about hairspray? That's the secret ingredient. Okay, so again, this is live. Feel free to use the chat. I'm reading through it the entire way through. That's where I saw the hairspray comments. If you're watching, so well, what's hairspray comments? Go to the comments section. Okay, there's a live chat going on right now. Okay, so here's some of the first lessons, epiphanies, unfair advantages in terms of my whole journey. Okay, I started out way back in 2006. That's 15 years ago. That's when I first discovered this whole world that, hey, the self-help world, you can actually work on yourself and you can do something about who you are, your life situation, and ultimately here are the tools to enhance it all. Okay, and the first thing that I did, and this is key, and this is something that a lot of people didn't do back then, and I want to say that nowadays, and we're going to go very nuanced here, nowadays is, funny enough, proactively pumped into you. You're actually conditioned way worse on this than I was back in the day. Okay, and the first thing I did that a lot of people don't do, and once more, nowadays it's way worse, is I took responsibility. And I want to expand on this because this is huge. Okay, I took responsibility. What does that mean? In 2006, I was so shy, couldn't say hi to anyone. I couldn't even ask a stranger, an old person, like a nice old lady in the street, couldn't ask him for the time. I got nervous around family dinners, family gatherings. I was the most shy, stifled, awkward person you'd ever meet. Okay, if you met the old me back in 2006 versus me today, you'd be like, how? Like, it's one of the, being very modest, craziest transformations that you've ever seen. Okay, so that's my background. I never used to be like this. I would never be able to talk in front of a camera like this. Even the very first videos I started doing, I had to practice every single day to get this going. Even to riff like this, I'd always get in my head, micromanage. I'm extremely analytical. I'm an overthinker. If you're, into personality types, my personality type is INTJ. That's my background. That's where I come from. I was also very miserable, very lazy, didn't take much action. It was bad. But I decided in 2006, when finding out about this whole self-help world, that I'm going to take responsibility. Meaning, instead of blaming other people, other circumstances, including younger versions of myself for why things are the way they are, I decided, you know what? I'm going to put that all on me. I'm going to stop blaming and I'm going to take responsibility. Now, can you guess what of the big advantages of that is? It's that now you are in control. The power is back in your hands versus you giving it away to other people or circumstances. And that's what being a victim does, right? Oh, it's not my fault. There's these evil forces. It's the president. It's this person. It's my past, so on and so forth. Okay, great. You get to feel a little better about yourself that it's not your fault. However, if it's their fault, then they hold the keys to your freedom. You don't. You just handed them the keys. Hey, it's your fault. I would, but it's kind of waiting on you to unlock the cage here. How do you get away from that? You take responsibility, meaning everything. And this is very harsh, right? Everything that happened to you, everything you did, didn't do, everything people did and said to you, you take responsibility. And here's another key quote, because although you can't always control what happens to you, you can control your response to it. Huge. Meaning, someone else could have gone through the exact same situation as you, yet it didn't affect them the same way. So I chose that. Even though it sounds harsh and you can come up with a lot of, counter arguments like, well, I don't know about that, but that thing really wasn't your fault. I don't care. I don't care if it's not my fault. I'm going to make it my fault because I want the keys. I don't want to give the keys away to anyone else, including younger versions of me, right? Why did the old me do that? No. I'm taking the keys. Full responsibility. And now that I have the keys, I can do something about it. I'm not at the mercy of anyone or anything else. Now, what did I say before this? Okay, going a bit nuanced. Nowadays, if you think about it, victim mentality is pretty poppin'. It's pretty popular, right? What's the new hot topic of 2021, 2020? Being a victim. Now, to be clear, is there such a thing as actually being a victim and bad things happen? Of course, right? Of course there is such a thing where you're a victim and bad things happen to you and people do things against you, so on and so forth, and it's unfair and it's terrible. Yes, but there's a difference between seeing that and holding whoever did that responsible, of course, versus completely giving your power away. And that's the whole social narrative today. It's, hey, everyone just wait, right? Wait for the government. Wait for someone else to do it. Wait for someone to save you. Wait for your stimulus check. You're a little victim. You don't know any better. What? Right? There's so much dialogues. If you really analyze it, the message is you're a stupid victim. That's the whole message. You are a stupid victim and you don't know any better, and we're going to step in to save you. Right? Funny enough, it's what self-help used to be accused of back in the day. The whole idea of self-help is, this is the accusation, they make you believe that you're not good enough. That was old school self-help. They make you believe you're not good enough so they can sell you on it, right? However, it's very different now. Self-help is take responsibility and crush your life. It's in your hands. It's in your control. Who controls the narrative of, hey, you weak, pathetic being, you not good enough little victim, you dumb idiot? Mainstream. That's the whole mainstream conditioning now. It kind of flipped. It's really weird, right? The most toxic self-help stuff you'd find back then is now just pumped left and right. How you're a little victim, how you're stupid, how you're gullible, and how people are just gonna milk you because you're so dumb and helpless. And this conditions you to, once more, keep giving your power away, and to, you could say, cultivate learned helplessness. So this is how you shatter it. It's like, no, give me the keys. Give me the keys now. I'm taking responsibility. It's on me. Okay? And don't let other people pull you back down. There's a famous saying, crabs in a bucket, right? If you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, if one of them tries to move up, the others will drag that person down. And that's what's happening here. It's no one moves up. The whole philosophy, by the way, once the seed's planted, you're going to see it everywhere, is the collective over the individual. That's 2020, 2021 mainstream philosophy. collective is more important than the individual. Meaning, if you start taking responsibility and you're that crab that starts moving up, what's going to happen? Well, wait a minute, that's not very collective oriented. That's individual. You're just getting yours, you selfish, and they'll just drag you back down. It's crazy, so you're going to have to fight against that. Don't give up when you're halfway through. Don't let the other crabs drag you down no matter who they are, including perhaps loved ones, close friends, family, you name it. Never forget that, crabs in a bucket. So I took responsibility. I stopped blaming, I put it on me, and now that I had the keys, I was going to find a way. That was the first thing. Okay. Now I'm bouncing in between that and comments here. Let's see here. And yes, this is live. Okay. If you just joined, this is live. This is not pre-recorded. So definitely participate in the chat. Someone says, make it my fault. I love it. Yep. You know, we're all stupid and smart. No, but this idea of learned helplessness, crabs in a bucket, collective over the individual, never forget that. Game changer. Okay, and you'll see it left and right, including in a lot of the more mainstream self-help things. Okay. Sounds like, what is your height? 6'2.5". Precisely. Okay. Sounds like, he's talking like a robot. Yes, I am. That's how you know it's live, huh? Sounds like Terminator. Yes. Finally, a chat that's not at 4 a.m. I know. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Okay, so we covered the first one, take responsibility. The second one, and this is huge, is collect every single win. Every single win, no matter how big or how small. Okay, I'm going to expand. Someone's like, it's 3:30 a.m. here. He is a real person. Not pre-recorded, he's answering more than all of you know. That's right. You tell him. What is it, Fitzgerald? You tell him. I'm answering more than you could possibly know. Okay, so let me talk about this idea of small wins. By default, once more, due to the way that we're conditioned, we will tune into failures and give failures a lot more importance than wins in our life. Okay, when we succeed at something, it's kind of like, well, yeah, of course, you know, okay, I succeeded. And as soon as we fail at something, we loop on it, we self-attack, we make it this huge deal, and that's just how it works. To the point where a lot of people, if you ask them, so, what are some of your wins recently? What are some of your successes recently? What are you proud of? They can't answer it. Okay, they haven't been collecting them, and they're not riding that wave of momentum. So here's one thing that I had going for me back in the day. Okay, this is one of those unfair advantages. There wasn't this thing called social media. Okay, yes, there was the internet, and there were these forums. It was like V-Bulletin forums, like text forums only. And then, of course, you could do some photos. But that's all there was. Okay, there wasn't this thing called social media. There wasn't this abundance or overabundance of information. And not just that, but the bar was a lot lower. Okay, so here's what happened in my journey. I never, or I don't want to say never, I rarely compared myself to other people. I didn't want to make any unfair comparisons. And I, most of the time, again, of course, every now and then I'm like comparing myself to others, but most of the time, I would only compare myself to the previous version of me. Not someone else, but old me. Me from even a second ago. And if I noticed the progress there, I would collect that win and I would celebrate. And what happened is there was this wave, this momentum that built. Okay, now people never compare themselves to their previous version of who they are. They're always looking at others through social media, and the bar is way too high. Okay, so let me take this example of social skills. I discovered this whole self-help world reading a book about social skills. It was a book, funny enough, called The Game, okay, back in 2006. Found out about it through a musician's blog of this band called Jimmy Eat World. And the singer, the lead singer, Jim Adkins, had this blog post with his favorite movies and books. And I think as a joke, he put that book, The Game, in there. And I randomly decided, you know what? it's 2006 now. It's time for me to read more and be a smarter human being. And I just ordered all the books, right? All the books he put on there, I ordered. Some were really weird. And there was this one called The Game. And I was like, whoa. And that's what opened my mind to self-help, social skills you can actually improve. Okay. So I find out about this book and I read the first chapter. And the whole first chapter is this person who meets a stranger and gets that stranger's phone number to hang out again. That was the whole first chapter. It ends with, here's a napkin with my phone number. And that's the end of chapter 1. Me reading that blew my mind. I was like, oh, and he got the napkin? The napkin with the phone number? Oh, like blew my mind. I was like just blown away just from a napkin with a phone number. And reading that, I was like, man, in my wildest dreams, if I could just get a phone number and a napkin, if I could just get that napkin, my life would be complete. That there is how, you might be hearing this now and be like, oh, just a phone number? That's how low the bar was. Now, what did that mean? Instead of placing the bar so high and anything that doesn't live up to that, I start self-attacking and beating myself up over. I'm like, every little win is great. It's getting me closer to the napkin. So first time I said hi to someone, a stranger, I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. 30 seconds. I celebrated that for days, for weeks. Like, oh my gosh, can you realize I just said hi to someone? This is crazy, right? First time I talked to someone for longer than 2 minutes. Went crazy over that. I was like, I am winning at life, right? I am the master of the universe. That's what I was thinking. And I would just ride all those little wins. Little wins now that people are like, oh, that's nothing. Not for me. Nowadays, once more, the bar is way higher, right? You're hearing that like a phone number on a napkin, lame. What's that? Why would you even celebrate that? But that's what got me to where I am here today. Because by collecting all those little wins, that wave, that momentum, it builds and you just keep on going. People are like, how are you still motivated? That's how. Ride the wave, okay? Now, this doesn't take away from goals. Have big goals, have huge goals, but along the way, collect every little win, no matter how small. And I started going overboard with this to the point where every little thing that I would do would be a win, right? I'd wake up, I'd start brushing my teeth. Brushing my teeth, that's a win. Walking down the street, that's a win. I even had a friend who worked with me for a while, and I remember vividly, we were on a plane, and he pulled out his iPad and he started typing, and with every word that he would type, he'd be like, oh yeah, look at that, yeah, that's like collecting wins as he types in the words correctly, right? It's like, oh yeah, hello, look at me type hello, oh yeah, right? Like, look at me reading through these comments here, oh yeah, ride the wave, says Nick. Look at me saying Nick, pronouncing his name perfectly, reading that comment perfectly. Every little win. Lower the bar, okay? And don't make unfair comparisons, meaning compare yourself to previous you. Hey, you versus yesterday today. Could you read a comment better than yesterday? Yeah, there's a win. And actually take time to celebrate it. Take time to pause and pat yourself on the back. People like cringe when they hear this or even try to do it. They're like, good job, good job. It's like, no, own it. Like actually celebrate. That's what keeps you going. It's not the self-attack, okay? And unfair comparisons, meaning don't compare yourself to other people. You're on your own path, your own unique path, unique to you. People are like, I'm behind that person, I'm ahead of that person. You don't know, and you can't compare yourself. They're not you. That's an unfair comparison. And that's what social media does, okay? Social media makes it so, number one, there is no room for action because there's just constant information. Back in the day, oh no, there was a lot of room for action. So you'd get some information and you'd execute on it. That's how you internalize it. Okay, people are like, how do you internalize all this content? You act on it. That's the only tip. It's, hey, you take action on it and it becomes part of who you are in your life. That's how you internalize something. Action. Not reading it twice or 3 times or 4 times, acting on it. Okay, so there were times of action versus now. And secondly, you weren't as involved in all these other people's lives, right? And, your friends, people you follow, strangers even, like you didn't know so much about them, right? So you're not like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want to be like that. Oh, that's what they think. And a lot of it too is skewed on social media. It's not reality. So people are making these comparisons and then self-attacking, okay? Sure, be realistic. Don't go delusional to the point where you're failing and you're like, king of the universe. No. But By default, understanding that you focus more on failures than wins, proactively force yourself, force your focus, force your RIS onto the wins, no matter how small. Okay, you should be riding once more this wave of just, I'm awesome, I'm winning, everything's a win, I'm awesome, I'm winning, look at that, I'm celebrating, this constant state of win, celebration, just proud and just crushing it. Okay, so that was the second thing. Going through the comments here, someone's like, do you follow Jordan Peterson? I've read his book and seen some of his videos. I don't agree with everything that he says, but I really, really like a lot of it. Someone's like, I'm sexy, that's a win. That's right. Look, I bent my index finger. That's a win. Everything's a win. Okay. Someone's like, I've done this. It feels nice. Yeah. I mean, that's how you do it, right? It's like, if you can't answer, what are you proud of? What are your successes? How are you going to have any self-esteem? Okay. Of course, you got to get to the cause, and that's through letting go. But simultaneously, on the external, on the outer, if you can't answer that, if you have no wins and you're just not giving yourself props, it's just terrible. Okay. And you can also audit, by the way, the internal dialogue. Here's the way I view it. And this is how I'd recommend viewing it as well. Imagine you have a child. Even if you don't, imagine you do. Okay. You have a kid. And there's two ways that you can motivate your kid to succeed. One is to yell at your kid. The same way you yell at yourself. The same way that little voice inside's like, come on, loser. Oh, you're so pathetic. Just self-attacking all the time. That's option one. The other is with everyone encouraging the kid. Being there for the kid. Hey, you got this. Awesome. Celebrating with the kid. Which kid's going to turn out better? Which one's really going to succeed? Number two, celebration. So audit yourself. Notice how you talk to you. If you wouldn't say that to a kid, to your kid, don't say that to yourself. Assert a boundary. Foot down. Nope. Enough of that. Oh, loser, you shouldn't. No. Enough of that. No. Okay. Foot down. Let's see. Someone's like, ha, 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 ha. This is huge. Yes, definitely. Again, these are some of the early things that I realized or that I already had going for me, like the take responsibility enough, right? Give me the keys. The collecting of wins, that was an unfair advantage because there wasn't social media. Okay, huge. And once more, the bar was low, so you couldn't really compare yourself to others, and it forced you to just celebrate every little win. And once you start riding that wave, it's very, very hard to get off. Okay. Let's see here. Someone's like, both kids. Andrew's asking, what was the first point Julien made? If you've been watching this from the very beginning, what was point number one? Give me the keys. Write it in the chat. Okay, help Andrew out. So, that was point number two. Collecting the wins. Okay. Now, if you just joined, by the way, I'm just going to have this pop over the screen. We started offering free coaching calls again. Okay, we did this early on during the whole pandemic lockdown to replace this free event that I used to do. So we're bringing that back. If you go to JulienMentoring.com, Julien Mentoring, a little pointing right there, JulienMentoring.com, you can fill out an application and get a free coaching call. It's 100% free. Okay, you also get a free meditation at the end of that call. It's with one of my coaches. You get to ask them questions. They'll give you personalized feedback. They'll help you and really come up with a solid game plan for you moving forward. Completely free. We're not going to be doing that forever. Okay, but we are bringing it back. Go to JulienMentoring.com. Now, point number three. I never considered myself the exception. Huge, 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 huge. Okay, I never considered myself the exception. So what does that mean? People look at the typical journey, the typical process, when it comes to personal development and success. And they think that there's something different about them, that the process has to be different, and that they can get away with doing things that other people couldn't. I'll say it again. They think they're different than the majority of people. Okay. Different advice and rules apply to them, and they can get away with what other people can't. Here's an example. You might go to a live event, and there's some exercise, and they ask you to write down the answer. Or even better, you don't go to a live event, you read a book. Okay, you could read a book, for example, there's a book called The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, Nathaniel Branden. And when you go through that book, there's different exercises in there as well, right? There's content and there's exercises where you get to write down your answers and participate. Guaranteed, the majority of people who go through that book will not write the answers. You want to know why? Because they consider themselves the exception. They're like, oh, well, for most people, for the dumb ones, they'll fill that out. I don't need to. I'm different. I'm the exception. No, 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 no. Audit that. Catch it. That's a virus. Never consider yourself the exception. Or, okay, I could see how other people could benefit from that, but not me. I'm different. I'm the exception. No, 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 no. Oh, they have to put in the work? Okay, well, let me look for a magic pill to not put in as much work because I'm the exception. No. Stop considering yourself the exception. Okay? And then what people do here is they'll find these fluke situations. Well, okay, you're saying that it's not possible to do it that way, but look at that person. They did it that way. Right? It's like, okay, well, look at Elon Musk. He did it this way. Are you Elon Musk? Are you comparing yourself to Elon Musk? Sure, right? There's a super small percentage that can break the rules of success and still succeed, but not you, not me. We're not the exception. So that was one thing I had going for me. I'd never ever considered myself the exception. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to drop that ego. Nothing different or special about me. I'm going to do and follow the traditional path. Easier said than done. Your mind will try to talk you out of it. And putting my ego aside, I'm going to ask for help. I'm not going to try to figure it out on my own because I'm the exception. No, no, no. I'm not the exception. I don't want to figure it out on my own. I want someone to tell me what to do. Hey, tell me what to do. Show me the steps, and there we go. And that's what I did. Ego aside, I didn't try to reinvent the wheel. I didn't consider myself genius. That's also big. I'm like, you know what? I'm not smart. I'm not smart enough to figure this out. If I were, I would have figured it out by now. So I'm going to ask for help. And ego aside, I'm asking for help. I'm not above asking for help. Again, it's like, I'm the exception. No, no, no. It's like, no. And that there is something that's lacking here today. People try to find these shortcuts. They try to break the rules. They think they can get away with these things. They think that they're one of those exceptional beings. If they just surrendered to the process, how it's meant to be, they would succeed much faster, or succeed versus not succeed, right? Because much faster is implying you're going to succeed anyway. So, not the exception. Someone's like, I make the rules for Elon. I need to drop my ego. That's the thing the ego does, right? It's like, hey, it's different for you. You don't need to follow what other people do. Even if you do follow, and here's what it'll also say, if you actually follow the path that most people follow and you succeed, it won't be as special. You need the special path to success. That's the only way it really counts. It's like, nah, just put your ego aside. It's like, what really counts is getting there. So what about like, oh yeah, I'm going to find my own way. Here's the cool thing, okay? If you want to do your own way, do it once you're at that point where there's no one ahead of you, right? Like if you're just starting out and someone's already accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, it's very stupid to try to figure it out on your own. Ask them for help, get it handled, and then once you're there, and perhaps in the area or direction you're going in, it's a bit more unknown, there's no one ahead of you or not many people ahead of you, then figure it out on your own. But don't waste all that energy and bandwidth trying to figure something out that someone already did. Ask for help, ego aside. Okay, the glory is in getting there. It's not, oh, I got there differently. I got there on my own. No. Okay, so drop that. That's something I dropped. Okay, I was never the exception. That is point number 3. Okay. Let's see here. What do you think about writing 5 wins each day? Yeah. Write 10, write 20. What you'll notice too is it might be harder than you think. You're like, okay, well, here's a few. What else? Right? There's going to be massive resistance because you have blind spots to them. Okay. And actually one more point here. Okay, we're going to loop around here. This is how you know it's live. We're looping back to point number 1, taking responsibility. Here's another key thing to understand, and this will help, okay? Although, yes, right, people might have screwed you over, bad things might have happened to you, so on and so forth. Life might have not been the nicest, fairest to you. Out of all those things, do you want to know who screwed you over the most, more than all of that? You. If you could just stop screwing yourself over, self-sabotaging, you'd be crushing it. So instead of focusing on that one thing, like, but that person, hey, what about you? Right? Okay, you're so harsh on that person for what they did. Do you know what you did to yourself? Right? That's like saying, oh, this person spat on the floor, and then what I did to, like, this person spit on me, and what I did is I punched me to, like, till I was bleeding. And then you're obsessed about the person who spit on you. No. Sure, that's not okay. But hey, what about you punching yourself? That's even worse. Okay, another point there with taking responsibility. Let's see here. Someone's like, how can you organize your day? I'm assuming you just joined. Okay. Now, point number 4. This is how it's tying all together. Okay, so take responsibility, collect the wins. You're not the exception. And point number 4, back in the day, okay, an unfair advantage, investing in yourself is something that was valued and, just like the wins, celebrated. I'll say it again. Investing in yourself was valued and celebrated. It's very interesting how that shifted, right? Back in the day, if, for example, you know, this is my story, right? Like, I'd purchase a social skills program. That was something I was proud of. That was a gift to me, and I'd celebrate it, and I would tell everyone about it. Now it's almost like people are ashamed, right? It's like, oh, I'm doing this self-help thing, but I don't want to tell anyone about it. What if my friends found out about me and my self-help, right? Well, I don't want them to know. It's like this dirty secret versus owning it, celebrating it, putting it out there like, oh yeah, it's a gift from me. Very different. Okay, so each era, there's pros and cons, but back then that was celebrated. Okay, people would like be proud. It's like, oh yeah, investing in myself, investing in my growth, investing in my path. Nowadays, that's kind of died, right? Nowadays, people take less action, they consume more. It's shifted to entertainment, social media, once more, unfair comparisons, the bar's too high, victim conditioning, and if you ever dare invest in yourself, don't you dare tell anyone. That's your dirty little secret, you little self-investor. You caring about yourself and your future? You naughty little person. Okay, now, of course, there is such a thing as, you know, investing in yourself in a smart way versus dumb ways. Okay, but there is, let's just say, if you look at people who've made it, you're not going to find a single person who's like, oh yeah, I didn't invest in myself. Every single person did. And they say that's the first thing in terms of the action amongst others they do. Right? You'll hear people like, oh, you know, I sold my PlayStation and I started, you know, buying stuff for my own growth, right? And I got a certain program, I got a certain coaching, I had this mentor. First thing you hear, you're not the exception. Invest in yourself and don't be like, oh, this is bad. Be like, great, this is awesome. And think more terms of, this is again a big difference between successful people and people who stay stuck. People who stay stuck, they always think in terms of immediate loss, right? What's the immediate loss, right? Oh, if I invest in myself, if I do this, okay, here's a loss. X amount of, say, money as an example. Successful people, sure, they're aware of that, but they balance it out with, here's the immediate loss, but if I weren't to lose this, what's the opportunity cost? Immediate loss, immediate cost, if you will, opportunity cost. Meaning, what am I missing out on? Okay, here's one, people could go on and on about this. If you tell someone, for example, you know what, I'm going to hire someone to clean my house. Right? I'm going to hire someone to clean my house. You'll hear a lot of people say, well, why don't you just do that yourself? Right? Why don't you just do that in your free time instead of paying someone for that? They say that is because they're focused on the immediate cost. Why would you pay someone for something you could do yourself? Okay, great, right? Say I do it myself and I save that amount. Hooray. But let's just say I spend that amount, someone else is doing it, frees up time, and during that time, I make double that. Opportunity there, that would be a cost. Me not doing it, I lose that opportunity cost. So that's how people think. That's how I always thought. It's like, okay, if I invest in myself here, sure, I might lose this sum, but what do I have to gain? What if I don't invest in myself? What do I have to lose? Key, key, key. Okay, and once more, celebrate it. Those were things that really made a huge difference for me starting out, and one of the big differentiators between people who make it, people who don't. I know a lot of people when I first started out, they're the same or sometimes even worse because they didn't follow this, they didn't get this, they didn't have these epiphanies, they didn't have these unfair advantages. And once more, it's different now. Things have changed. The whole culture, environment, even the whole industry has changed, but a lot of this still applies. Okay? And if you would like to invest in yourself, even with something free, right? Go to JulienMentoring.com. There's the link here. It's floating, JulienMentoring.com. We brought back the free calls. Okay, value this. Even though it's free, value it. If you go to that link, you can fill out an application. I read through all of them myself. Okay, you can fill out an application and you can jump on a free coaching call with one of my coaches. And you can ask them questions, get feedback, any questions, even on the stream. If you're like, but I have a question about that, ask them. And they'll help you gain a lot of clarity and come up with a game plan moving forward. You can also audit here if you're in it for the entertainment or action. If there's resistance, I just want to watch the videos and be entertained, you won't make it far. Put your ego aside, okay? And even though it might be scary, trust me, it's all customized to you. It can be the most intense call of your life, but if you want it chill, it can also be chill. Okay, it's here for you. It's here to help you. It's completely free. In the past, every single Thursday, I do these free tours, a free live event. You've seen a lot of the seminar clips posted on this channel here, which is funny, right? People are like, whoa, all those people paying thousands of dollars? Like, no. A lot of the footage you see here, it's from a free event. I'm not going to put the paid stuff here. It's a free event. Okay, so we can't do that now with the lockdowns, but we can do the free calls. Just go to JulienMentoring.com and apply. Okay. Let's see here. I listened to Julien more than I listened to my parents in 2021, in the past month. Hey, if you're looking for a new father, you know. I'll leave it at that. Let's see. Julien, I'm broke, but I invest every dime into self-help and business. Well, then you've invested in the wrong thing, right? If you're in self-help and business and you've invested money into that and you've not found a way to get a return on that investment, you're screwing up. You screwed up, right? That's not investment. That's burning money. And that's what I said. Yes, okay, value investment, but you got to be really smart in terms of how you invest and what you advance, right? It's not just, oh, let me throw any kind of money. No, it's like, no. There are such things as dumb investments, okay? Smart investments, dumb investments. Sounds here, no offense, you made a lot of dumb investments. So you got to learn from that. Be like, oh, shit, what's going on? Like, why am I not ahead, right? What's different? Why am I not, making that money back and more? I tell this to my clients too. It's like, yo, if you can't find a way to make this money back and more with what you learn here, you messed up. So, sorry to hear there. Invest in a smarter way. Let's see here. Sounds like LOL. Preaching. Father J. Yes, if you would like me to be your Father J. Yes. Someone's like, I am a loser. How self-defeating is that? I'm sorry for you. But hey, there can't be winners without losers. So thank you for volunteering. At least it's you wanting to be, right? Like you're volunteering for it. You took responsibility for it. So, yeah. Someone's like, love these lives. Well, thank you. Thanks. If you like the lives, make sure you hit the notification and subscribe to the channel so you're notified next time I do another one. let's see. Thoughts on manifesting. Still take action, right? Big reason people don't, quote unquote, manifest what they want is they never address the subconscious mind and they don't take action. They just use this as an excuse, like manifesting. It's like, ugh, it's terrible. Okay, I should do a live stream, by the way, just really breaking down some of those traps and how people misinterpret key life-changing advice in the dumbest way possible. There's so much misinterpretation of key content here. It's just insane, right? Like people are like, am I going to manifest it? Law of attraction, manifest it? And then they even go to conventions, and that's where you also got to zoom out, just like the person who like, I invested everything, but I'm broke now, who was too like invested in the wrong things, or who didn't, let's say wasn't smart enough to make it back and more. Take a pause here and look at all these manifestation seminars. Why are they all broke, right? Why are they still trying to manifest it? It's not working, okay? Yes, there is such a thing as manifesting, in my opinion, but you got to address subconscious, hidden beliefs that hold you back and take action. It's not just going to magically appear. It's like, where's my car? Where's my car? It's like people misinterpret it. That's one example. That's a classic example, but there's so many subtle ones too. Someone's like, have you ever done shadow work? Have you heard of transformation mastery? Yes, I've done shadow work. That is what a lot of my teachings is about. Diving into your subconscious, letting go, healing past trauma, freeing yourself from disempowering beliefs. 100%. But hey, welcome to the channel. Someone's like, you can't call yourself a loser with all these daily wins. That's true. For the person who said I'm a loser, if you start collecting daily wins, hey, chances are at some point you'll be like, well, based on all these wins, based on me tapping that word correctly, maybe I'm not a loser. Maybe I'm a winner. What's the best program to change your life? Honestly, start with the free call. Here's the link. Okay, I'll put it one more time. The link's floating here. Start there, right? What's the best program? Like, to quickly break it down, that's my answer. What's the best program? How am I supposed to know? Do I know you? Do I know you? Do I know what your specific needs are, what you're trying to accomplish? No. So how can I answer that? Why are you asking me? Right? For everyone here, notice, no offense, just that's what messes us up, by the way. Like, notice, I was like, what's the best program? Asking someone who doesn't know you, knows nothing about you, how would they be able to give you a good answer? Okay, so my advice to you is jump on the free call. Talk to one of my coaches. Share with my coach, like, your story, what you're dealing with, what you want to accomplish. And like I said, they'll give you a game plan. They'll help steer you in the right direction. Right? Whether that is to join, for example, one of my programs or mentoring, or not, but they'll for sure come up with a game plan. So jump on the free call. Start there. For someone to be able to, it's that classic like doctor example, right? If they want to prescribe you something, they got to learn more about you first. So that's my advice to you. Do the call, see what they say, and see if it clicks. And once more, that's JulienMentoring.com. Come at it with your notes, have your questions ready, and go really deep on it. Just because it's free doesn't mean it's like, oh, just dumb and watered down. It's like, no. We take it really seriously. We brought it back. Go to the link, fill it out, get the free call right now. Do it while it's on your mind. Okay? Someone's like, Julien, are you Jesus? Someone's like, of course. Awesome. All right, any last comments here? Back in 1991, I decided to give up all negative self-talk. Great. Okay, now, here's the last point. Here's a good subtlety. All these tips are great. What I shared here are some of the original epiphanies and lessons that I learned. However, as you've heard me talk about a lot for the past 5-6 years, this doesn't get to the cause. Meaning, you can force, okay, I'm going to stop negative self-talk, but until you address where this comes from and you process it through letting go, it's still going to be there in the background. So think of this as a stepping stone, okay? But letting go is what gets to the cause. That's why you hear me talk about it so much. You can't avoid that, okay? You got to let go. So that being said, we're going to wrap it here. Okay. Make sure you go to Julien Mentoring, jump on the free call. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the little bell next to it so you're notified next time I do one of these lives. And more importantly, let me know in the comments your biggest takeaway. I'll say it again, not in the live chat. Once I end this, in the comments below, let me know your biggest takeaway. This allows me to learn more about you, what you connect with, what you resonate with, and allows me to customize these freestyle topics on the lives best to you. Right? If, for example, a lot of takeaways are the same thing, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to make the next live about that, perhaps. So please, takeaways below, okay, in the comments below. Let's see here. Someone's like, there's a demon behind you. All right, comment below. That could be your takeaway. What's your takeaway? Hey, there's a demon behind him. There's a demon behind him. All right, we're going to wrap it. Thank you so much for jumping on this live. I look very forward to talking to you on another one very soon. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And post in the comments right now, not in the chat, in the comments. I want to read it. Your number one takeaway. And don't forget, free call at JulienMentoring.com. Thank you so much. Until next time.